Prayer versus mental health. What you need to know. Join me as I dive deep into the debate of prayer versus mental health and see if I can find out what really works for a happier mind. Today, we're going to tackle a topic that's often pushed to the side, but it's one that deserves our attention: the relationship between prayer and mental health. In a world where mental health conversations are becoming more mainstream, it's essential to explore how spiritual practices like prayer can impact our well-being. One common misconception about prayer is that it's a magic solution that can instantly fix mental health issues. Some people think that if you just pray hard enough, your anxiety or depression will disappear. Others believe that prayer is a sign of weakness, and that we should be able to handle our problems on our own. But the truth is, prayer can be a complex and multifaceted tool that can have both positive and negative effects on our mental health. For instance, some people may use prayer as a way to avoid dealing with their problems or to shift the responsibility of their well-being onto a higher power. On the other hand, prayer can be a powerful means of finding comfort, solace, and perspective. Another misconception is that prayer is only for the devoutly religious, and that it has no place in modern mental health practices. But the reality is, prayer can be a spiritual practice that transcends religious boundaries. It can be a way to tap into our deeper selves, to find meaning and purpose, and to connect with something larger than ourselves. And when we dismiss prayer as an option, we might be missing out on a valuable tool for promoting mental wellness. We also tend to assume that prayer is a one-size-fits-all solution, that it will work the same way for everyone. But the truth is, prayer can be deeply personal, and what works for one person may not work for another. For some, prayer can be a source of comfort and peace, while for others, it can be a source of anxiety and guilt. And when we don't acknowledge these individual differences, we risk alienating those who may not fit the traditional mold of prayer. In reality, the relationship between prayer and mental health is complex and multifaceted. It's influenced by our personal beliefs, values, and experiences, as well as our cultural and societal backgrounds. And when we try to simplify it or reduce it to a single formula, we do a disservice to the thousands of people who are searching for meaning and healing. So, what does the scientific research say about prayer and mental health? Well, studies have shown that prayer can have a positive impact on mental health outcomes, particularly when it comes to reducing stress, anxiety, and depression. For example, one study found that individuals who prayed regularly experienced lower blood pressure and a stronger immune system than those who did not pray. Another study discovered that prayer can increase feelings of social connection and community, which are critical for our mental well-being. However, other studies have also found that prayer can have negative effects on mental health, particularly when it's used as a means of avoidance or when it's accompanied by feelings of guilt or shame. For instance, one study found that individuals who prayed for healing but didn't receive it often experienced feelings of disappointment and disillusionment. Another study discovered that prayer can be used as a way to suppress emotions and avoid dealing with underlying issues, which can ultimately worsen mental health outcomes. What's more, expert opinions on prayer and mental health are far from uniform. Some mental health professionals argue that prayer can be a valuable tool in the therapeutic process, particularly when it's used in conjunction with other forms of treatment. Others argue that prayer can be a hindrance to healing, particularly when it's used as a substitute for evidence-based therapies. So, how can we integrate prayer into our mental health practices in a way that's effective and empowering? One way is to approach prayer as a form of mindfulness, focusing on the present moment and letting go of expectations and outcomes. Another way is to use prayer as a means of self-reflection, exploring our thoughts, feelings, and values in a deeper way. And still, another way is to incorporate prayer into our daily routines, making it a regular practice that promotes mental wellness. I want to share a personal story that highlights the transformative power of integrating prayer into mental health practices. A few years ago, I was going through a period of intense anxiety and depression, and I found myself feeling lost and disconnected from the world around me. But then I started practicing a form of prayer that focused on gratitude and self-compassion. I began to pray every morning, reflecting on the things I was thankful for and the ways in which I was taking care of myself. And slowly but surely, I started to feel a sense of peace and calm that I hadn't experienced in months. It wasn't a magic solution and it didn't fix all my problems overnight, but it helped me to find a sense of purpose and direction, and it gave me the strength to keep going, even when things seemed darkest. Prayer can be a powerful tool for promoting mental wellness, but it's not a one-size-fits-all solution. What works for one person may not work for another, and what's most important is finding a practice that resonates with our deepest values and beliefs. By approaching prayer in a thoughtful and nuanced way, we can tap into its transformative power and find greater peace, comfort, and healing in our lives. In conclusion, the relationship between prayer and mental health is complex and multifaceted. It's influenced by our personal beliefs, values, and experiences, as well as our cultural and societal backgrounds. By acknowledging this complexity and approaching prayer in a thoughtful and nuanced way, we can tap into its transformative power and find greater peace, comfort, and healing in our lives. If you've struggled with the relationship between prayer and mental health, I want to hear from you. Share your experiences, your struggles, and your insights in the comments below. And if you're looking for more content on mental health topics, be sure to check out my other videos and subscribe to my channel for more.